Okay, here we go. I'm excited about this one. Farsightedness affects an estimated 60 million people in this country. See, I can read it.
You can.
Barely. Well, now there's a new procedure that can correct the problem without laser surgery, and it's just been approved by the FDA. Our Dr. Emily Sinai has details in this morning's Health Watch.
Okay. Yes,
good morning. Good morning.
Well, this new procedure, as you said, just approved by the FDA, is called Conductive Keratoplastia, or CK for short, and it really does give people who are farsighted a new option besides laser surgery.
Yeah. So now you're going to be talking about a new treatment for farsightedness,
That's
right?
right.
Which becomes more relevant as we discuss our aging years here.
Exactly. Fortunately, I don't have to wear glasses yet, or contacts or anything.
I'm nearsighted.
Really?
So I've been wearing contacts for like 20 years.
I'm sorry to tell you this procedure won't work for you.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, but if you're farsighted, and you know...
And I'm very farsighted.
Oh, wow.
In more ways than one.
Prescience, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
A soothsayer.
Oh my gosh, that's why you've achieved the fame and fortune that you have,
That's
darling.
right.
Thanks so much, Maurice. Well, this week, a new surgical procedure won FDA approval that could change the lives of 60 million Americans who need reading glasses. Doctors and patients say it can make a dramatic difference in just a few minutes. For Gladys Lopez, the problem was more than just her poor eyesight.
Tired of the glasses, tired of losing them, and I think with all the surgery that's going on, I think I wanted to try something new.
Gladys works at New York's Mount Sinai Medical Center, where a new surgical procedure, CK, or conductive keratoplasty, underwent 2 years of clinical trials. Unlike laser surgery, CK doesn't involve cutting tissue. It's less invasive and lower risk.
This is approved for farsightedness, meaning we can get rid of their glasses for distance. But as they get older, they still need prescription for glasses for reading.
At the start of the 10-minute procedure, a pattern is imprinted around the cornea. It serves as a guide for a probe thinner than a human hair that directs radio waves into the eye. This shrinks the tissue like a belt, tightening the cornea and increasing its curvature to correct the farsightedness.
During the procedure, there's no discomfort. We use local anesthesia, but after a few hours, then little discomfort. It depends on patient. It's described as mild to moderate.
Another Mount Sinai employee, Jim Drago, was among the first patients in the clinical trials.
It's a miracle. But it is. What an improvement.
And Jim's vision 2 years later?
The same. Nothing has regressed.
Just minutes after her surgery, Gladys was ready to head home with a beautiful spring day sharply in focus.
Great improvement to me that I think my eyesight is so much better.
And here to tell us more about the CK procedure is one of the doctors who performed it in the FDA study. Dr. Penny ASBELL is director of the Refractive Surgery Center at Mount Sinai Medical Center in New York. And Dr. ASBELL, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here, Sarah. Beautiful morning. Great to be here.
And nice to be able to see it well. So let's start talking about who is a good candidate for this procedure.
The typical patient is somebody who has had great vision most of their lives. Then they get to be 40, they start having trouble with the menu, trouble with the computer, and they start getting their first reading glasses. And maybe a few years later, when they're 50, they not only need glasses for reading in the menu and the computer, but maybe for distance as well. So they start noticing it when they're a little bit older.
Now, we saw what happens with the procedure, but describe it for the patient. What happens when they sit down in the chair or they lie down on the table?
Well, one thing I do want to say is everybody needs a complete eye exam to make sure their eyes are healthy and find out what procedure works best for them. And after we do all of that, then we do the surgery. It's really quite simple. We put some numbing drops in both eyes, then they lie down, and under the operating microscope, we look at the eye. We make a mark with an inked pad. Actually, here are the eye drops going in. And then in a few minutes, you'll see that we make a little mark on the cornea. The cornea is the front window of the eye. It's clear, so it's right on that window that we're making the mark, and then using the probe.
And you've got that tiny little probe in your hand. Let me ask you, after you perform this procedure, can the patient see improvement right away?
They see immediately. In fact, we've had several patients sit up. We give them a magazine, and they can read it immediately. It's pretty impressive.
That is staggering. What I find interesting, though, is that when you got FDA approval, they said that they consider it at this stage temporary. Why is that?
Well, you know, the FDA makes their own decision, so I can only surmise to some extent. But part of it is that another procedure that was done with a laser, actually, it worked, but many patients, even a month or 2 months later, found that it went away, and they kind of felt a little bit gypped.
But do you think this will last longer than a month or two? You think this should last quite a while?
Well, actually, we've now followed our clinical trial patients for 2 years, and it stayed absolutely the same, meaning they've had complete effect, and it stayed the same. So we're very pleased and very hopeful that it will continue even beyond the 2 years.
And I guess the only thing that might change it is if your eyes worsened, then you might need to get, if you will, kind of an update.
That's true. You may need a little touch-up, but that's not because the procedure has changed. It's because there's still aging of the eye and there are changes that occur.
It is not inexpensive. It's about $1,500 to $2,000 per eye, and most insurance companies don't cover it, do they?
No, that's true of most of refractive surgery. It's about the same cost as other refractive surgery procedures. I think the real added benefit here, however, is that it's not a laser, no tissue removed, and it's done on the edge of the cornea, out away from the area you most use for vision.
For somebody who is nearsighted, this simply isn't an option, is it?
No, it's not for nearsighted, it's a far-sighted people. So fortunately, there are other things for nearsighted, and that's one of the good pieces of news. Lots of new things available.
When you talk about laser surgery, though, that's been somewhat controversial. People have had wonderful responses, other people haven't been so happy. Do you think this will draw in folks who might not have been confident to do laser surgery?
You know, I think this is a bit older person than the LASIK person, the laser person. They're more risk-averse. And here no cutting, no laser, nothing done that's permanent to the vision part of the eye. In fact, in over 400 patients, not one of them lost vision. So we really have a great safety record.
So there really isn't much of a downside.
Not much. There's a lot of upside.
All right, Dr. Penny ASBELL, thank you so much for joining us with this new news. It's very important.
Farsightedness is one of the toughest vision problems to treat, and while laser surgery is popular, another less invasive procedure, conductive keratoplasty, or CK, has just gotten the green light from the FDA and could become the option of choice for many older people suffering from farsightedness.
The CK is the first non-laser surgery approved to treat farsightedness. CK, or, you ready for this, conductive keratoplasty.
Forget reading glasses or even contacts. The government has just approved another way to fix farsightedness. The new procedure is called conductive keratoplasty.
People who want to correct farsightedness have another option now. The FDA has approved a surgical device that uses radio waves to reshape the cornea.
Some new medical news to share with you this morning, and they both focus on treatments that may be of special interest to you who are over the age of 40. And your eyesight might not be what it used to be. Of course, none of us will admit to that. We are joined now by medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen. Good morning.
Good morning, Paula. Well, my eyesight hasn't been what it used to be for about 15 years now, but this new treatment actually wouldn't be for someone like me. It's a treatment called CK. Now, we've all heard of LASIK, which is a laser approach to reshaping the eye. This instead uses radio waves, and it's for people who are farsighted. Farsighted means that people have a tough time reading close up, so it's ideal for someone, or it's the best patient for this. The ideal patient would be someone who's over 40, and they tried it out in 233 patients in clinical trials in the U.S., and the FDA just approved it, and they said, the company that did the trial said that everyone had better vision afterwards and that there were no safety problems.
I can drive without glasses, I can see small prints, I can read the paper, I can look at my watch. You know, one time I couldn't look at my watch on my beeper, and now it's like incredible.
I can see my Vikings, and I can see my computer, and I can see my music stand. I mean, all distances are just great.
Now, if you wear glasses or contact lenses, there is a new way to correct your vision without cutting or lasers. Instead, the procedure relies on radio waves. Our chief medical editor, Dr. Bruce Hensel, is here now with exclusive details on this. Dr. Bruce.
And, Colleen, good timing here. It looks like the FDA is going to give final approval to this breakthrough procedure called CK tomorrow. It does not, as you said, involve cutting at all. One of the first people to have the procedure heard about it when it was experimental, and we ran a story on it here at Channel 4.
Okay, let's try to read this line.
For prolonged use of the eyes, the type should be several sizes larger than the smallest which can be read.
Can you believe that that's 3 paragraphs higher than you read before?
That's amazing. Without glasses.
Surgery for people who are farsighted, and some say it is better than LASIK. It is called conductive keratoplasty, or mercifully CK. The surgery is less invasive, has fewer side effects.
A breakthrough in eye surgery is making news around the world tonight, and one local doctor is credited with helping make it a reality. Ophthalmologist Dr. Marguerite McDonald performs the new procedure designed to correct farsightedness called CK. It uses a probe that releases radio waves instead of a laser or scalpel to reshape the cornea. CK takes less than 3 minutes and is done in the doctor's office with only topical eye drop anesthesia.
We have some medical news to talk about. The Food and Drug Administration has approved a new surgical procedure for people who are farsighted. It's the first non-laser treatment surgical procedure. Joining us now with more on what this means for you is our medical correspondent, Elizabeth Cohen. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. Well, Thomas, we've all heard about lasers being used to reshape the cornea. What this new procedure does is it uses radio waves to heat up and reshape the cornea. The company that is doing this new technology says they tried it out on 233 patients. Everyone had corrected vision, and none of them had any problems as a result of the procedure.
I was losing my quality of life. I was wearing glasses. They're the size of Coke bottles.
Vanity aside, James Drago was also carrying around multiple glasses for reading, and in his case, distance as well. That is, until he underwent conductive keratoplasty 2 years ago.
This is a breakthrough because it's a non-laser treatment for people who are farsighted.
Just approved by the FDA this week, conductive keratoplasty, or CK, is the first minimally invasive procedure for farsightedness.
So, you want to get rid of your glasses without laser surgery?
The FDA has now approved a new procedure that we first told you about last year. Health and Family reporter Diana Gonzalez is in our downtown Miami studios with the story.
It's called CK, which stands for conductive keratoplasty. We first told you about this procedure last May because Bascom Palmer Eye Institute in Miami conducted some of the research.
Tired of squinting to read the paper? We'll tell you about a new alternative to laser eye surgery that is now FDA approved. The FDA has approved an alternative to corrective laser eye surgery for farsightedness. This new procedure is called CK. It uses radio waves to reshape the cornea instead of a laser. Half of the patients who have it wind up with 20/20 vision within a year.
Refractech Incorporated says the FDA has only approved the procedure for patients 40 and older right now.
Very good news today for people who are, you want me to hold that? Who are farsighted.
Oh, I love you. The FDA has just approved a new way to treat the vision problem, and it is less invasive than laser surgery. 7's on call with Dr. Jay Adlersberg.
I'm the one who has the glasses on, and so do you, Jay.
That's right. This is a baby boomer's dream, Roz and Rob, to be able to sit erect in a restaurant and read the menu without glasses. It takes decades off one's apparent age. For the 2 years for follow-up at Mount Sinai Hospital, the improvement from this eye surgery has been permanent for farsighted people. CK takes about 10 minutes for each eye. Ms. Tolman tried her new vision right after on small print for which she needed glasses before.
Yes, no, I can read this.
Can you? What does it say?
In the aftermath of the tragedy at the World Trade Center, heroes are needed more than ever. This is very impressive because even though my vision is fuzzy right now, I still could read it.
And Dr. ASBELL says CK can also be used as a touch-up procedure after LASIK and cataract artificial lens placement to fine-tune vision correction.